Hello and welcome to Yoga with Maggie. Today we have some hip openers for you. We also have some balance challenges for you and also some twists. So, hope you enjoy. We're going to start off on our backs in Savasana. So just lying down on your mat, relaxing everything into the mat, softening the back of your neck. Arms upwards to the ceiling, taking a nice deep breath in and exhale that out. Just let everything soften into the mat. Notice how your body is feeling today. Any little niggles anywhere that you need to take care of. Maybe close your eyes and just give your body a quick scan from your toes up through your legs, through your body. Relax the shoulders back and down. Relax the back of the neck into the mat and let the back of your head just soften into that mat. Then you're going to bring your feet underneath your knees and just let your knees roll over to the right hand side and turn your head to the left. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the knees back to the centre and lower them down to the left hand side, turning your head to the right. Take a breath in, bring the knees back to the centre, and then in a rhythm with your breath, you're just going to let the knees roll from one side across to the other side. So with your breath, one breath, one movement. Then bringing your knees back to the centre, give your knees a hug them into your chest. Maybe give your lower back a little massage by going side to side. Maybe bringing the knees round in a circle, going both ways. And then crossing the ankles, and whichever way you're comfortable, rocking up to your hands and knees. So, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and as you take a breath in, lifting the tailbone, opening the front of the chest, and then as you breathe out, belly button to spine, dropping the tailbone, gaze is back at your thighs, and then into pose of the cow as you inhale and exhale, pose of the cat, and inhale and exhale. Coming back to a neutral spine, you're going to lift your right arm up to the ceiling and look up at that hand if you can, and then tuck it underneath the space between your thigh and your arm and reach through. Then reaching back up and exhaling it through. Inhale up, exhale through, and this time you're going to place the back of your shoulder on the floor, reaching that arm as long as you can, reaching your left arm forwards. This is called thread the needle. Taking a nice deep breath in. And then bringing that hand back in, coming back up to hands and knees. This time reaching up with your left arm, reaching high, looking up at the ceiling, reaching it through that gap between your arm and your thigh, reaching up, exhaling through, once more inhaling up, exhaling through, placing the back of your shoulder on the floor, reaching as far as you can, and if it's comfortable to do so, reaching that right arm forwards. Taking a breath in and exhale. Breath in. As you exhale, bring that hand in and press back up into cat. So raising the spine towards the ceiling and then exhaling, and then coming back to a neutral spine, tucking the toes under, lifting the tailbone up onto your toes as high as you can, lowering the heels and having a little pedal out, sway of the hips, just loosening everything up, sway of the head and the neck, make sure everything's loose. And then you're going to walk your feet towards your hands, take a breath in, extend the back, making it long, and as you exhale, fold towards the legs, and then breathing in all the way up into Tadasana. So just taking a moment to think about how you stand in Tadasana. So feet grounded down, finding your centre of gravity, spiralling your thighs in and up, and then lengthening the tailbone down towards the ground, lifting the chest, lengthening the back of your neck and out through the crown of your head. Taking a breath in, reaching up. As you exhale, diving forwards, bent knees or straight, hands towards the floor. Taking a breath in halfway, hands to the shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Taking a breath in, reaching up. To exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, create space between your thighs and your chest. Exhale, close that space down. Breathing in all the way up. And forward fold once more. Exhale. This time you're going to step back with your right leg. You're going to place the knee on the floor. You're going to reach up with your arms as you take a breath in. And then we're going to bring the left arm forwards and the right arm back for an open twist. Then they meet at the top as you breathe in. And as you exhale, you twist the opposite way for a closed-in twist. And reach back up. And with your right arm, you're going to circle that arm back towards your thigh or your knee or your calf. Bring that arm back up, reaching forwards, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to come forwards to plank pose, drop the knees to the floor, chest between the thumbs, hips high, sliding through into a low cobra. Tucking the toes under, lifting the hips high, and you're going to step your right foot through between your hands. If it doesn't quite make it there, give it a helping hand and step the left foot in. Breathing in, reaching up, and exhale, forward fold. Breathing in halfway, stepping back with the left leg. Knee to the floor, untuck the toes, sweep the arms up, and this time your left arm is coming back, your right arm is coming forwards for an open twist, and then reaching up, Left arm forwards, right arm back for a closed in twist. Both arms meet at the top. Left arm's going to circle back towards your thigh, your knee or your calf. Bring that arm back up. Exhale the hands to the floor and step back to plank pose. Drop your knees to the floor, chest to the floor, slide through for a cobra. Tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. Bringing the left foot between the hands, again if it doesn't quite make it there, give it a helping hand and step in with the right foot. Reaching up as you breathe in and let's fold forwards. Stepping back with your right leg. Knee to the floor, sweeping the arms up. This time carry on with the right arm, circling it back, reaching high with the left. Enjoy that little back bend. Bring that arm back up, hands to the floor and step back to plank pose. Knees to the floor, chest to the floor, sliding through for a cobra. Tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot through between the hands, stepping the left foot in, taking a breath in and exhale, forward fold. Stepping back with the left leg, knee to the floor, untuck the toes, reaching up, taking that left arm all the way back to enjoy a little back bend on the other side. Bring that arm back, exhale the hands to the floor, step back to plank pose. Knees to the floor, chest to the floor, sliding through for your cobra pose. Tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. Lifting the tailbone high towards the back of the room, spreading the shoulder blades across your back, spreading the weight across your hands. Don't just have it all in your wrists. Make sure you spread it up to your fingertips as well. Then bringing the left foot through between the hands, step the right foot in, taking a breath in, and exhale, forward fold. Stepping back with the right leg, this time keeping the knee off the floor, sweeping the arms up. This time left arm comes forwards, right arm comes back. If you can, look back at your back hand, trying to keep that back knee as straight as possible. Reaching the arms up to the top, twisting the opposite way for a closed in twist. Reaching up, circling your right arm back towards your back thigh, knee or calf. Bring that arm back up, sweeping the hands forwards and step back to plank pose. Now, if you're feeling a bit more warmed up, you can try chaturanga. If not, knees, chest and chin. And you can press the tops of your feet into the floor for an upward dog if you prefer that to cobra. To downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg off the floor, bending the knee, opening the hip, stepping that foot through between your hands, bringing the left foot with you, taking a breath in, and exhale, forward fold. Left foot steps back, knee off the floor, sweep the arms up as you breathe in. Right arm comes forwards, left arm comes back for an open twist. Keeping that back knee straight, reaching back up, twisting the opposite way, looking at your back hand if you can. Closed in twist, reaching up, circling the left arm back towards the thigh, the knee or the calf, and bringing it back up. Exhale the hands to the floor and step back to plank pose. So either knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, you choose. To downward facing dog, lifting your left leg off the floor, bending the knee, opening the hip, stepping that foot through between your hands, stepping the right foot in, taking a breath in, reaching tall, exhale forward fold, step back with the right leg, sweeping the arms up, carry on with your right arm all the way back to your thigh, knee or calf, and then sweeping it back up, hands to the floor, stepping back to plank pose, knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga dandasana, upward dog or cobra. To downward facing dog, right leg leaves the floor, bend the knee, step it through between the hands, step your left foot in, breathing in and up, and exhale forward fold, stepping back with the left leg, sweeping the arms up, carry on with the left arm down to your thigh, knee or calf, bringing that arm back up, sweeping the hands forward, stepping back to plank pose, your vinyasa, knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga, upward dog or cobra. To downward facing dog, lifting the left leg off the floor, bending the knee, opening the hip, looking at the hands, stepping the foot through, bringing the other foot with you, taking a breath in, and coming to chair pose. So hips drop down towards the heels, weight is more in the heels than the front of the foot, bringing the hands in to your chest, thumbs to chest. You're going to twist to the right hand side first, so left elbow to the outside of the right knee. If you'd like to, you can open your wings, open up your chair pose, bringing the hands back to prayer, coming back to chair. Let's try that on the other side. So hands to chest, twist the right elbow to the left knee. If you'd like to, right hand to the floor, left hand to the ceiling, bringing the hands back to prayer, coming back to the centre. You're going to place your left hand on the floor in front of you, right hand on your hip, step back with your right foot and windmill all the way up into Warrior Two. So from here, we're checking that our tailbone is tucked underneath us, that our front knee is going out towards our little toe, shoulders are back and down, crown of the head reaching tall. So then we're going to drop the right hand to the right thigh, reaching up, reverse warrior, then coming forwards, bending the elbow, lightly resting it on the knee for an extended side angle pose. So have a look up at your top arm. If all you can see is arm, try rolling that top shoulder back, opening the chest. And if you'd like to take that a little deeper, you can. Coming back up to Warrior Two, reverse your warrior, straighten your front leg, arms coming to shoulder heights, gliding forwards into your triangle pose. So again, opening your chest to the long side of your mat, perhaps trying to encourage that top hip back a little further. Then you're going to turn to face your front foot, place your hands either side of your front foot and turn onto your toes of your back foot. So here we are in pyramid pose. So flat back, feet hip width apart for a nice hamstring stretch in pyramid pose. So if your flexibility is particularly good, checking that you keep that left hip underneath you, you might want to fold down towards that left shin, or that might be as far as you can get, and that's absolutely fine. So if you're folded forwards, then come back up to a flat back. We're then going to walk the hands round to the long side of the mat, and from here we're just going to grab our elbows and we're just going to have a nice restful forward fold. If you need to have your knees slightly bent, then that's fine as well. Just have a little gentle sway side to side, maybe give the head a shake, and then placing the hands on the floor, you're going to walk over to your left leg. When you get there, you're going to place the right hand either on your ankle, your shin, your calf, wherever you can get to. And as you exhale, you're going to reach the left arm up and try and close the gap down between your chest and your thigh. Looking up at your top hand if you can. If that doesn't agree with your neck, then looking at your foot is fine. Bringing that top hand down, walking back to the middle. And from there, we're going to reach the arms out. Weight is in the balls of the feet. And coming up, turn your left foot forwards, and we're back to Warrior Two. Windmill the hands forwards, stepping back to plank pose. So your choice of vinyasa, knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, stepping back to downward facing dog. So you're going to lift your right leg off the floor for 3-limb down dog. Keep the leg straight. Have a look at your hands. Move your left hand back so it's about halfway between your other hand and your foot. Lighten the pressure on that left hand so you're just up on your fingertips now. Maybe you can lift all of your fingers off the floor apart from one. If that doesn't feel too wobbly, you can maybe see if you can lift your hand up to your hip, which immediately sets the wobbles in. Place the hand back down on the floor, bring that foot back to the floor, have a little pedal out and come down to a child's pose. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, come up over the top of cat, tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. So at this point I'm just going to turn myself around so that I end up facing the right way. So you are going to lift your right leg off the floor, bending the knee, stepping that foot through between the hands, rotate the back foot to the floor and windmill the arms up so you're in Warrior Two facing the other way. So from here we're going to reverse our warrior, and then we're going to come forwards into a side angle pose. So we're reaching long with that top arm. Top arm goes over your ear, not in front of it. If you can get it behind your ear, so much the better. And if you'd like to take that a little deeper, you can reach your bottom hand down to the floor. But you must lower the whole of your body, don't just lean forwards. And then coming back to Warrior Two, reaching back to reverse your warrior, straighten that front leg, and coming into triangle pose. So we're gliding forwards, keeping the chest open, keeping the tailbone tucked underneath us. And then turning to face that front foot, turning onto the back toes, both legs straighten as far as possible, flat back to begin with, maybe you will stay there, maybe keeping that hip tucked underneath you, you might be able to fold down towards that shin. Coming back up to a flat back and stepping back to a plank pose. So, knees, chest and chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana, upward dog or cobra, to downward facing dog. This time lifting your left leg off the floor, keeping the leg straight, looking at the hands, bring the right hand halfway back, keeping that back leg stretched as far as you can, lifting up onto maybe spider fingers, and then maybe onto one finger, concentrating on getting that balance, maybe lifting that hand to your hip, and then placing the hand back down, coming back to downward facing dog, knees to the floor, and sit back to child's pose. Coming up over the top of cat, up to your downward facing dog. Can you step your right foot through between your hands and turn to face the long side of your mat? Hopefully you're still facing the screen. If not, have a little walk around so that you are facing the screen. And this time you're going to walk over to your right leg first. And you're going to take hold of the right ankle or the right calf, and then reaching up with your right hand. Looking up at that hand if it's possible, trying to close the gap between your chest and your thigh. Bringing that hand back down, walking round to the centre, going over to your left foot, holding onto the ankle or the calf, reaching up with your left arm. Maybe you can get your elbow on the floor, maybe not. Bringing the hands back to the centre, and again let's just have a restful forward fold, little sway, and then hands to the floor, coming up to a flat back. Can you reach your arms round, link your fingers together, straighten your elbows, and then as you exhale, forward fold, lifting the arms from the shoulders to open. Feel that stretch across the front of your shoulders. And then coming back up halfway, reaching the arms wide, coming all the way up, turn your right foot forwards, windmill the hands, step back to plank pose. So knees, chest and chin, or Chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, to downward facing dog. Have a little pedal out like we did with the very first downward dog, swaying of the hips. And then depending which way you're facing on your mat, you're either going to walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, because you want to be at the front end of your mat. If you need to turn around, do so, cross your ankles and come down to a seated. I'm just going to move back so you can see me. So, soles of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall. Just encourage those knees out with your elbows if you can. Maybe just take a little cat fold forwards to try and fill in that space. Still encouraging those knees out with your elbows. One day those knees will touch the floor, but not today. So coming back up, fold your left foot in and stretch your right leg out. Just lift yourself up off your sitting bones and sit on the front part of your sitting bones. Get yourself in a comfortable position. Flex the toes of your straight leg, and then you're going to reach your left arm up and over. So you're reaching up and forwards. So we're not reaching down for our toes because that turns our chest inwards. We're keeping the chest open and we're reaching up and over. Again, ideally with that top arm on or behind your ear, but not in front of it. So maybe look up and see if you can move that arm out of your view. Okay, now we're going to turn and face the leg, placing that left hand on the floor, placing the right hand outside of the leg, and again we're going to try and close the gap between our chest and our thigh, but we're not going to round the back. We're going to keep the spine long, and as you exhale you're just going to reach as far forwards and as far down as you can get. Don't forget to breathe. And then we're just going to take a little walk back up that leg, and then we're going to unfold the other leg and fold the right leg in. I'm running out of space here because my fireplace is in the way. I'm just going to shift over. So flexed foot of the straight leg, spine nice and tall, sitting on the front edge of your sitting bones, and we're going to reach the right arm up and over. Sweep it up, and remember we're reaching long and high, keeping the chest as open as we can, looking up to see if we can move that top arm out of our view, and then turning to face that leg. Might need to just readjust that knee if it's not comfortable, and then keeping the spine long. As you exhale, try and close that gap between your chest and your thigh. If that's not comfortable for your knee, you can always bring that foot much further down. And then from there, walking back up that leg. Keep the left leg where it is, stretch the right leg out as well. Lifting up through your spine, out through the crown of your head, placing the hands on the floor in front of you, and then just having a little crawl forwards with your hands just to see where you might be able to reach. So we're reaching long with the spine. Maybe you can wriggle your fingers a centimetre further forwards now. Take a nice deep breath in. Maybe you could reach another centimetre forwards. Take a breath in. Is there any more reach? And then slowly walk your hands back in. Hands underneath the backs of your knees. Bring your feet together. And let's just go back to that cobbler's pose. So your feet are not very close in, they're sort of semi-bent legs, sitting up nice and tall, and then just have a gentle fold into that gap, encouraging the knees outwards to the floor. And then coming back up, we're going to cross at the ankles, and we're going to come back up to standing. So we're going to test your balance now. So we're going to come up into Tadasana, take a breath in, hands together at the top. We're going to come up onto our toes. We're going to find a spot to gaze at that's not moving, and then as we exhale, we're going to bring the hands to the chest. We're going to bend the knees but stay on the toes, keeping the back as upright as possible. You're going to lower the hips down towards the heels. When you've got down there, you're going to place your hands on the floor for balance. I'm just going to shift back a bit so that you can see what I'm doing. So from there, you're going to stretch out your left leg in front of you, heel to the floor, toes to the ceiling. You're either going to reach for your toes. If you can't reach your toes, the back of your calf or ankle will do. And then as you drop your right heel to the floor, you're going to try a little counterbalance by lifting that left leg off the floor. And we're going to place the right index finger on the right thumb, elbow towards the floor, for our pistol squat pose, or big toe pose, big toe hold. Then we're going to place the right hand on the floor, lower the left heel to the floor, left hand to the floor, bring that left foot back underneath you. Still on your toes now. Hands to your chest, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back and down, take a breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to press into those toes, reaching nice and high, having a little wobble if you need to, and then come back to Tadasana. So just take a moment here, and then we're going to take a breath in, reaching up. And as we exhale, we're coming up onto our toes, slowly coming down, hands to your chest, until we get down to the floor. We place the hands on the floor. This time we're stretching our right leg out in front of us, and we're reaching for the big toe, the ankle, or the back of the calf. And then as we rock back onto the left heel, the right heel should be coming off the floor. If you can't manage that, just leave the heel on the floor. Then we're going to make a symbol with our left hand as we balance in our big toe hold, taking a breath in, and as we exhale, lower that heel to the floor, place the hands on the floor, draw that right foot underneath you again. We're up on our toes, we're straightening our back as much as possible, bringing our hands to our chest, and as we exhale, we're coming all the way back up onto our toes, and then lower the heels to the floor. Well done if you manage that without falling over. So we're now going to wiggle the feet about just over hip width apart. Maybe turn the toes out very slightly. Again, keeping the back as straight as possible. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to drop the hips down towards the heels. We're going to reach the knees out as wide as possible. If you can, hook the elbows on the insides of your knees just to help prop them open. If that's all good and fine, you're going to try placing your hands to the floor, and you're going to wiggle your toes towards each other until they are touching. Okay, so from there, encourage those knees outwards, and then you're going to place the hands to the floor, and you're going to fold forwards, maybe seeing if you can get your heels to the floor, maybe seeing if you can get your forearms to the floor, but keeping those knees as wide as possible. Then walking the hands back in and bringing the hands to prayer. Now we've already done this, so we should be good at this. We're going to bring the knees together. We're going to bring the spine as upright as possible. We're going to take a breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to press down through the balls of the feet, coming up nice and high. Lower the heels to the floor. And we are done with Malasana, or garland pose, that one was called. Right, breathing in, reaching up, Folding forwards. We're going to walk the hands forwards until we're in downward facing dog. So just adjust your feet as necessary. You're going to lift your right leg off the floor. You're going to bend the knee. You're going to bring it through between the hands, or not between the hands, you're going to bring your knee to the back of your right wrist. And then you're going to stretch your left leg out behind you. At this point you can sit on your right hip and maybe wiggle that foot a little bit further forwards, but then come back up so that your hips are evenly placed over the front of that heel. So if you imagine you had a light on each hip bone, both lights should be pointing down at the floor, not halfway up the wall. So wherever you can get to, stretch that left leg out as far as you can behind you, and then maybe you can walk your hands a little bit forwards, maybe coming down onto your forearms. Maybe you can walk your arms all the way out and rest your forehead on the floor. Wherever you can get to. You should be starting to feel now a little burning sensation in your right glute. Just on the outside of your hip there. So don't forget to breathe. And wherever you feel you can, maybe wriggle that left leg back a bit further. And try and relax any muscles that you can. Tense muscles will not stretch. So think every time you breathe out, breathe away any tightness. So from there, we're going to slowly start to lift our head and walk our hands back in. When you've got your hands as far in as you can get to, maybe see if you can lift that back toes off the floor. I always tend to get cramp at this point, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. But if you don't get cramp, can you reach round with your right hand and grab your foot for a good quad stretch, and then place that leg back on the floor, tucking the toes under of your left foot, and then sweep that right leg all the way up to a 3-limb down dog, and then have a little pedal out in downward facing dog. So lifting the left leg up off the floor, bending the knee, opening the hip, bringing the left knee behind the left wrist, and stretching the right leg out behind you, maybe wriggling that left foot forwards a bit, up to 90 degrees, but most people can only manage about 45, if that, including me. So hips central, both hip bones pointing down at your mat, sinking the hips towards that front heel, maybe starting to walk the hands out gently, maybe getting the elbows to the floor, stretching that right leg back even more, maybe walking the arms out, resting the forehead on the floor, taking a nice deep breath in, breathing away any tightness anywhere that you feel. Are your hips beginning to give in and sink down with every breath that you take? One more breath here. And then walk the hands back in. So again, if you can, without getting cramp, can you lift the back toes? Oh, maybe I can do it on this side. No, cramp is appearing. So if you can grab that back foot, do so. If not, with me, stretch that back leg out. Tuck the back toes under, and then lift the left foot up into 3-limb down dog. and then down into your downward facing dog and have a little pedal out. Lower the knees to the floor and sit back to child's pose. Take a nice deep breath in. Coming up over the top of cat. Tucking the toes under. Downward facing dog. Having a little pedal. Walk the feet to the hands. And you'll be pleased to hear we're now back down on the floor for the rest of the session. So we are going to lie down on our backs and bring the feet underneath the knees, placing the arms out in a T position. Cross your right leg over your left and take the knees across to that side of your body, to the left side that is, turning your head to the right. Enjoy that lovely reclined twist. Nice deep breaths. And on your next exhale, bring the knees back to the centre. Uncross the legs. Cross the left leg over the right. Take the knees across to the right side of the body. Head to the left. Nice deep breaths. And then on your next exhale, bring the knees back to the centre. Give your knees a hug. Maybe give your lower back a little massage. Place your feet on the floor as close to your hips as you can get them. Tuck your chin to your chest, roll your shoulders back and down. Flatten your tummy and begin to lift those hips up off the floor, chin to chest. And as you exhale, roll the spine down one vertebrae at a time. Take a breath in and an exhale. And on the next inhale, we're going to lift the hips up. As you exhale, we're going to lift the arms up, drop the shoulders to the floor. Exhale the hands up to the floor behind you. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lower the arms and the hips back to the floor at the same time. This time, arms and hips at the same time, so take a breath in and lift. Chin to chest, hips high, arms long. And on your next exhale, bring your arms and your hips back down to the floor. Give your knees a hug. Stretch your legs away on the floor. Let your arms relax to your side. Let everything go. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, just soften into your mat. Maybe give the shoulders a roll back and down. Another deep breath in. And slowly exhale. Let the back of your skull just soften into your mat. Hopefully you're feeling refreshed, if not a little tired from your workout. Concentrating on that breath, filling your lungs, exhaling fully. Now you can stay here as long as you like, just press the pause button, but I'm going to have to finish, so we're going to draw the feet underneath the knees. Roll the knees over to the left side and your head to the right. to the right and your head to the left. Bring that left arm across on top of your right. And then gently, when you're ready, coming up to a comfortable seated position, any position. Rolling the shoulders back and down. And again. Taking a nice deep breath in. Bringing the hands to the chest. Namaste. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please press the thumbs up button. Any comments, let me know what you'd like in the next video. Much appreciated. Thank you for watching.